Hey all, here at OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at an interesting table lamp slash mood lamp called the Govee Aura, and it sells for under 60 bucks. It's been very popular on Amazon recently, and it has a lot of different animations and color schemes that you can play around with, which can be displayed 360 degrees. It's a Wi-Fi connected lamp, so you can turn it on or off from your smartphone app. It's called a RGBIC table lamp, and you're also able to customize individual pixels on here in terms of the colors, so it's a little bit reminiscent of some of the Devoom pixel art speakers in that sense, and otherwise you can have it in a normal white light, warm light, or in a crazy glow effect. Can act as a wake-up light if you want to. So inside of the box, aside from a quick user guide, we have just the lamp along with a wall adapter. There's the portion that plugs into the wall that has a round barrel plug, and then there's a second portion that has a USB Type-C port along with a connection where you have to link up the barrel plug into, and that's because the lamp itself takes a Type-C input and then you plug the other side into the outlet. But the reason why it's detached like this is so that they have a separate module connected on here that is basically where the Wi-Fi chip is located. The lamp itself looks clean and modern, but honestly it's not too exciting when it's turned off. It's just like a cylinder that's white colored, and on the very top there's just a power on and off switch. You're able to also control the brightness directly on the top as well as the color, so you can do some of these commands even without using the voice assistant or the companion app. And then the base here also has some soft touch rubber feet that prevents it from sliding around on a surface or desk, along with just the Type-C port for charging located on the back. And although they call it a table lamp, I would say it's more of a mood lamp, although it does get very bright. Here it is next to something like a phone that has a 6-inch display. You can see how it's still pretty small. All right, so plugging it in, I think almost immediately it becomes quite dazzling and interesting to look at. And again, compared to traditional RGB lights, which can only display one color at a time, the whole benefit here is every single individual pixel can be customized, and that gets you this really dazzling effect as you're going through different transitions and the ability to really edit it as you would like. So in fact, if we tap on the very top key here, we're able to start cycling through some of the modes. So here is kind of a fire color that is actually responding to my voice. So there is a microphone built onto the control box along with the Wi-Fi chip that is going to react to music being played back, working quite well, like an equalizer. And here's another one that just simply flashes all at once. Tapping on it again, it will go into kind of a flame mode. It really is quite pretty to look at and becomes even more obvious in the dark. We can also change into solid colors. So this is a green one, here is a gentle blue, and this one is going to be a more aqua blue and purple. Everything is just really smooth, as you can see there. Orange, and here's a yellow, and then it just goes back and forth. But really the fun begins when you jump into the companion app and you have even more versatility. So the app is called Govee Home, and it's able to connect to all of their smart connected lamps and other products that they sell as well. So if you have multiple sets, you can control turning them on or off, all of them directly from this one place. Flick it off, I can do that, and the lamp here also turns off, as you can see there. And then tapping on the lamp itself, we're also able to further tweak how we want it to look in terms of the brightness level. Right now it's only at about 21%. There's still some other lighting that's turned on, but it's still visible, as you can see there. But we can also crank up the brightness all the way to 100%, and it becomes just a dizzying red in front of our eyes, definitely very visible. And I can also go and change the color altogether into other whole shades like a white light. Now this is super bright, it's even washing out the color of this display. It still might be sufficient if you're talking about a smaller bedroom to still make things visible enough for reading. Warmer color versus a colder color. The temperature there can also be further adjusted. A more manual color wheel can even be brought up to kind of slice around, and they tell you how these colors can be corresponded to different moods as well, which is kind of interesting. Camera color recognition function. So you can pop that open, it will open up the camera, and it will be pointing at certain colors, like say the desk right here, and it will recognize that particular shade, and if you are satisfied, you're able to apply that color over to the lamp. Sometimes it might be a little bit off, but it still is a really neat idea. So let's say we're pointing at the screen, we want to apply that color. You can see right now it's been matched over to that green / turquoise blue. Now that's just the first color, single color tab. You can also go over to the music, and this will go into that reactive EQ mode once again, but you can even change things like the sensitivity of the microphone, as well as what type of animation you want it to be playing back as it is syncing to the music. The next tab over, which is the scene mode, is where things actually get a bit more fun and interesting in my opinion. So there's about 20 of these. The first one here is called a sunset glow, and it really is just so beautiful to look at with the yellow towards the top and the orange and reddish haze at the bottom, and everything is not completely symmetrical, so it's always changing. And there's another one called the sunrise, which is a little bit different. It actually has more of a turquoise color at the bottom and really resembles, again, the sun slowly rising into the sky. So it's dazzling in person. There's a rainbow effect as well that is almost like candy, but it's in this diagonal shade as it is moving along in terms of the different colors. Just so beautiful to look at, and everything is slowly changing there in the background. And again, everything is 360 degrees, so no matter where you're seeing, everything is consistent. If anything though, I would like them to maybe remove the logo and put it onto the base completely, because that kind of breaks the otherwise really beautiful color going on, but it's not too distracting, I'd say. Other ones on here include a snowflake effect, so the overall pixels are still a little bit blurry beneath this translucent plastic sheath. It's not quite as clear as on our phone display or on some of the pixel art displays that we've seen, but you still get the overall mood or sensation of kind of snowflakes falling in the background, which is also beautiful. And here's also an aura effect, which is showing you kind of the night sky if you were in the Arctic. Also beautiful to look at and dazzling. Here is a forest color that is more of a yellow and green that will slowly be changing there. It even kind of reminds me of a modern lava lamp, something that has dynamic changing motion inside. Definitely a conversation starter. There's also one called Waves, which is going to be more clearly oscillating waves, as you can see there in the bottom, slowly moving along. And there's also a fish tank effect, which really does resemble a small fish floating around, even though it's not completely pin sharp, it still gets you the same sensation, which is really clever. And other things include a graffiti effect, which is just changing it to a randomized color, and then a cherry blossom festival. So this one is also, I think, one of my favorites. It just resembles slowly falling cherry blossom leaves. There's one called Dancing, which is kind of this diamond that keeps on oscillating, as you can see there, and changes color as well. So very interesting. And there's also a breathing effect as well that is slowly going to just oscillate between the different colors one at a time. There is also a gradient version of that, which is also going through the different colors but changing up in a more smooth manner. A cheerful mode here is just the rainbow, but it's actually going around like this instead of in a diagonal shape. So once again, we can see the rainbow effect here. Now under the DIY, you can also create your own effects and modes. And if I press on plus, for example, I can do that, including creating some finger sketches. So for example, I can write something like hi and see how that does. I can change the color of the pen as well. And if I tap on apply, let's see what happens. So you can kind of make it out there in the background. It is kind of moving along at a slow pace, wrapping around. You can see this giant letter H and this little I here that's slowly moving, but it's not the most sharp. But it's still kind of interesting to try and create some of these animations depending on how you doodle and draw, and it would basically keep on wrapping that text and pattern along the canvas of the lamp. You can also change the way that they are displayed in terms of rotating clockwise or counterclockwise or moving up or down can all be adjusted, including the speed of how much it's moving. Additional effects lab, which is giving you even more customization and shades of all the specific colors that are labeled. So that gives you just a huge variety and range of these RGB colors, powder blue, ice blue, lake blue, that you may want to play around with, different scenes from clouds and objects, from nature or emotions. A timer mode so that the lamp will slowly turn on in the morning or turn off again at night, so it can act as a wake-up light. You can set that up. You can also connect to Alexa or other Google Assistant devices using the app here as well if you want to give it permission to access your account. And on the main home screen of the app, you can even take a look at how other users around the world are using their lamps. They will sometimes share like a community forum of how other people created custom patterns, and they will share them. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the Govee Aura. This is a really interesting table lamp mood light that might look quite ordinary on the outside from a design perspective. With its cylindrical shape, it seems like nothing new, but what really is interesting is the fact that they have customizable colors, not just changing to one color at a time, but everything in terms of shades in between, individual pixels. It also gets surprisingly bright, very easy to use and control, and just a very functional and fun lamp in general to add color and decor into any room. So if you're interested, you can check out more details in the links down below. For now, that's been our video. That's been the Govee Aura.